Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Elfreth, and I have the privilege of serving as the Member of Congress for the 3rd Congressional District. Now, this is a really important conversation today for our federal workers. I just invited on Instagram Live the president of AFGE, so we're just waiting a minute for him, President Kelley, to come on. Though I am not in the Senate, I can't, I'll try to filibuster until he's able to come on. And actually just got a notice that they are unable to come. So let me try that one more time. Thank you for your patience. I just invited again. We have a backup plan in case the Instagram Live fails us. So just please hold on tight as we wait for President Kelley to join us either via Instagram Live or we'll get him on the phone in just a moment. So for those who are just joining us, my name is Sarah Elfreth. I have the great privilege of serving as your member of Congress for Maryland's 3rd Congressional District, representing Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and Carroll County. We are waiting to be joined by the president of AFGE, President Kelley, who is also a proud Maryland resident, and we are hopefully not having any technical difficulties. We will shortly, but I so appreciate everybody making time. And for folks who don't have an Instagram, we're going to post this on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, get this around as much as possible because it's such a critical conversation that we need to have today. A lot of anxiety going around across the federal workforce, not just here in Maryland's 3rd Congressional District, but across this country, 2.2 million federal employees who have a lot of questions, and we're going to try our best to answer those for everybody today. Okay, and I'm getting a request to join. I'm not sure where that should pop up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think we figured it out. I accepted the request to join, and I'll accept it again. President Kelley.
Hey, Miss Woman, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry for folks at home for the technical difficulties, but I greatly appreciate your time.
Pleasure's mine. I appreciate what you're doing.
Yes.
And I just want to say, first off, that we think you're doing an amazing job for federal employees and for all your constituents, for that matter. But we're especially proud for the work that you're doing for federal employees.
Well, I appreciate it. It is a team effort, particularly for those of us in the Maryland and Virginia delegation. This is a priority. We're talking about it every single day. So President Kelley, I'm going to do a quick intro, and then I'm going to ask you to just share a few thoughts for us. So for folks tuning in at home, Maryland's 3rd Congressional District is home to 44,000 hardworking, passionate, capable, qualified civil servants in dozens of departments and agencies serving their communities, not just here in the 3rd Congressional or in Maryland, but across the world, frankly. There's been a lot of anxiety and chaos brought on by President Trump's and Elon Musk's fork in the road email, challenges to Schedule F, a lot of questions. We have received President Kelley, we received 1,000 calls between Monday morning and Thursday morning from concerned constituents asking for guidance. Many of you reached out with your stories. And this is also really personal for me. President Kelley, I don't know if you know, my parents were civil service. They are retired right now, but this is personal for a lot of folks in my district. So I'm so grateful that you're here representing 800,000 federal employees in, I couldn't even count them all, but just a few of the agencies you represent: Department of Defense, United States Naval Academy, Veterans Affairs, Department of Education, EPA, FDA, Social Security, so many to impact the 3rd Congressional Maryland in this country. So welcome, President Kelley. And we might have had a technical difficulty right when I welcomed the president. What happens, unfortunately, while we try to connect across the world. And I think we have lost him. And we are figuring it out and I'm seeing in our comments, yes, Noah, there are hundreds of federal agencies and departments, workers across those departments who reside in the Third Congressional, and are represented by AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees, and President Kelley. Hundreds represented by AFGE here in the Third and across this country. We have somehow lost the signal to President Kelley, so we are working on getting him on the phone right now. Best laid plans, everyone. Okay, gonna see if I can get them back on this way. Oh, here we go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Well,
all right. Wonderful.
Thank you so much once again. And I'm sorry we are having some technical difficulties, but Representative Elfreth, I just want to say that I know I speak for every federal worker when I tell you how grateful I am for you for reaching out this afternoon to discuss these anti-civil service agendas. And we do represent about 71 different agencies. Okay, you named some, but we represent about 71. Okay. And my message to your constituents is simple. Every one of them depends on federal workers for critical service, whether they realize it or not, VA benefits, Social Security claims, clean water, small business loans, food safety, all of these and much more.
Unfortunately, we lost President Kelley, and we're going to bring him back. Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right. Okay.
We're working through it.
We are. But, as I was saying, all of these entities, will suffer. The constituents will suffer if this administration wins the war against the federal workforce, because here fighting the Trump assault on the federal workforce and their ability to deliver for Americans. For example, we're suing to stop the administration's Schedule F scheme to replace nonpartisan workers with unqualified political loyalists. And that's what this is all about. We want to protect the private data of federal workers and to force the so-called Department of Government Efficiencies to, public accountability. All of us ought to be accountable, right? And so to the extent that the administration issue more executive orders targeting the federal workforce, and we know it will because we have the history, right? AFG will respond, in kind with lawsuits and challenging these legal actions. And just know that we will do that, right? And of course, AFG is working with our friends in Congress, like you, to push back against these initiatives, proudly and forcibly, defending the integrity, and the excellence of the federal civil service is what AFG does and has done since 1932. And we will not stop. We will not give up. We will be there to fight for federal employees until there is nothing left in our body. Okay? Now, that's just the way I feel about it.
I feel the same way, President Kelley. And thank you, first and foremost, for filing so many legal actions at this moment, challenging what we believe Democrats in Congress to be unconstitutional executive orders in violation of established federal law. Mm-hmm. We had a spoils system, to your point. We once did in this country. Absolutely. We abolished it because of corruption and cronyism. We cannot go back to that system. So thank you for filing that lawsuit. Democrats in Congress have your back 100% of the way. This is an issue that, it's going to be fought out in the courts, but every single one of your members should know that you have their back. And we have their back in Congress. You have their back in the court system. I really do appreciate it. What can members do, AFG members and members of Congress do at this very moment to support your efforts challenging these executive orders in court? And stand up
right now,
for federal workers.
On media rally on Tuesday, at noon to 1 at the Upper Senate Park at the corner of Constitution Avenue in Delaware. We are asking our members to come and support that rally because hundreds of AFGE workers and members of Congress will join us to defend the civil service and make sure that the American people continue to receive services that they depend on, and not just depend on, but that they deserve. You know, so we are asking you and ask you to urge federal workers not to quit, right? To reject the crooked and corrupt and degrading deal from Musk and Trump. You know, because that's exactly what I feel like. We ask you to take to social media, explain and defend the critical work that federal workers do, you know, for all Americans, Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike. You know, I ask you to speak up, you know, on the House floor and in committees for federal workers, you know, as House Democrats did Wednesday evening. You know, they need to see you, you know, and I mean your constituents here, fighting, right? Fighting with them, fighting for them. Now, consider submitting, you know, briefs in support of lawsuits that, you know, we're filing to challenge Trump. And please don't make the bad mistake and the bad deal with Republicans who hurt federal workforces, right? Please don't do that.
I commit to you, sir. I am standing firm with the 44,000 civil servants in my district delivering services for my constituents every single day. So I heard you loud and clear. The fork in the road email. Thankfully, there's a temporary pause on that through Monday when a federal judge is going to take this case up Monday afternoon. I will be with you on Tuesday. I think I'm speaking at your breakfast. I will be with you at the rally in the afternoon. I spoke on the House floor, my first floor speech. I was only a little nervous the other day, but I delivered it on behalf of federal workers. Members of Congress are with you. And we're running a little shorter time, Mr. President. Can you just, if you had one message for federal employees who are tuning in right now, what would that message be?
Well, you know, first of all, I ask federal workers, do not surrender, okay? We're in this fight, and we need to fight. We need to fight like we've never fought before, and we got to make sure that we get our communities involved. You know, we all go to churches and mosques and synagogues. You know, we need to make our issue known in every aspect of our communities. You know, I ask you, the constituents here, to make sure you do that. Tell your friends, right? Tell your family about the issue that federal employees are dealing with and what and how it will affect America if these jobs are cut out. Think about this. If there is no one to process the VA claims, what's going to happen with the veterans? If there's nobody there to make sure that the food supply is healthy, what's going to happen to all of us, right? And these are the type of things that federal employees do. Social Security benefits, you know, the members that we represent process those claims, make sure that beneficiaries receive their payments on time. They deserve it. But if the Social Security members are not there, guess what? It's going to affect America. If the safety of our skies are not sought after by the TSA employees that, you know, make sure that that happens, guess what? You will see another 9/11. We can't afford that, you know. So America's going to be affected. So please don't stop fighting.
I appreciate that, President Kelley. Thank you so much. It's going to be a long weekend, but we're waiting for that court hearing on Monday. I will be with you on Tuesday. Folks tuning in at home, if you're in the DMV region, please join us Tuesday for the rally. We'll share information about that here. If you live in the district, even if you don't live in the district, you can go to my website. We put together a resource guide for federal employees who may be affected. Our best advice to you, you can find that at elfreth.house.gov. It is the privilege of my life to represent you, to fight for you here in the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm not giving up the ship, Mr. President. I know you are not. And we're going to stand together.
Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll see you Tuesday.
Right. Looking forward to it. All right.
Thank you all.
Okay.